Good morning children. Today I am going to revise history chapter 1, how, when and where. Okay. See, we have already revised this chapter once, right? Now let's revise this chapter again with question and answers that you must copy in your classwork note. Okay. Now I am going to ask you a few questions based on the last revision of this chapter. Okay. Okay. What is history? What is history? History is record of people, places and changes that occur over time. See, simply we can say history is the study of the past, isn't it? So, history is the study of the past and history is record of people, places and changes that occur over time. Okay. Now, let's see how important are dates. Generally, dates are very important in history, isn't it? Yes. Why? Because dates help us to understand the relation of events in a time frame, and also dates tell about the events, kings and their policies and battles which occurred at a particular time. Moreover, dates help us to compare the past with present. Okay. See, I tell you an example. How dates help historians to construct history, a king or a dynasty in a chronologically manner. We will see it with the example. Okay. See children, do you know the meaning of chronology? The meaning of chronology is the arrangement of events or dates in the order of their occurrence. In history, the events should be coherent. Then only we can understand history clearly. Let's take an example of Mughal Empire. See, who were the prominent rulers of Mughal Empire? Who were they? They were Babur, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb, isn't it? See, the year 1526 is landmark in Indian history. Why? Because first battle of Panipat was fought between whom? Ibrahim Lodi and Babur, isn't it? So, Babur won the battle and he became the first Mughal ruler of India, isn't it? So, the year 1526 is landmark in Indian history. Why? Because it marks the end of the Delhi Sultanate and the glorious beginning of the Mughal Empire in India. See, with the help of dates only, we can recognize the predecessors and successors of a ruler. For example, we take Babur. Who was the successor of Babur? Humayun. With the help of dates, historians constructed history, isn't it? So, without dates, historical facts will be a meaningless help. So, if we have to understand any events of the past, dates are very important. Okay. Now, let's see about James Mill and his work. See, already we have learnt this chapter. So, based on this, let me ask you a question. Who was James Mill? Who was James Mill? James Mill was a Scottish economist and a political philosopher. And he published a massive 3-volume work, A History of British India. So, A History of British India 3-volume work was published by whom? James Mill. You know, James Mill's opinion about the Asian societies? In James Mill's opinion, all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization than Europe. What is colonial? Colonial refers to the British rule. See, why do many historians refer to modern period as colonial? It is because under British rule, people did not have equality, freedom or liberty, the symbols of modernity. So that many historians refer to modern period as colonial. Okay. Now let's see, how do we know administration produces records? See, the official records of the British administration help historians to write about the last 250 years of Indian history. Why? Because the British believed that the act of writing was important. Hence, they got written up every instruction, plan, policy, decision, agreement, investigation, etc. They thought that once this was done, things could be properly studied and debated. So, this conviction produced an administrative culture of memos, notings and reports. And also, Britishers established record rooms attached to all administrative institutions such as the village Tahsildar's office, the collectorate, law courts, etc. And also they set up archives and museums to preserve important records. Okay, mention one important source used by historians in writing about the last 250 years of Indian history, the official records of the British administration. Okay. Now let's see, how did surveys become important under the colonial administration. See, the practice of surveying became common under colonial administration. So, the practice of surveying became common under whose administration? Colonial administration. Here don't forget it. Colonial refers to the British rule. So, the practice of surveying became common under colonial administration. Okay. Then surveys like botanical survey, zoological survey, archaeological surveys, or anthropological surveys and forest surveys were in the list of British administration. Isn't it? Yes. And they also introduced census operations held every 10 years from the end of the 19th century. Now, let's see, what do official records not tell? The official records do not tell about the needs of people of India. Many official records hide the truth and only show one aspect of the event. So, the official records do not tell about the needs of people of India. Okay, fine. Based on this last class revision, I'll ask you a question. A map of Hindustan was published by whom? James Renner. In which year a map of Hindustan was published? 1782. Okay. So, James Renner published a map of Hindustan in which year? 1782. Okay. Who was the first Governor General of India? Lord Warren Hastings. Lord Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India in the year 1773. And who was the last Viceroy of India? Lord Mountbatten. Okay. And the National Archives of India came up in the year 1920s. Okay, fine. The word calligraphist means one who is specialized in the art of beautiful writing, isn't it? Yes. So a person who is specialized in the art of beautiful writing is known as calligraphist, isn't it? Yes. Okay. Census operations are held every 10 years, isn't it? Yes. I will ask you a few questions based on this chapter. Okay, first question. History is about finding out how things were in the past and how things have dash. Option A, ended or completed. Option B, changed. Option C, started. Option D, evolved. Which one will come? Which one is the right answer? Changed. So, history is about finding out how things were in the past and how things have changed. Okay, fine. See, third question. Present day historians think that history is beyond the rulers and dynasties. What do they look upon then? They looked upon deal with a host of other issues like how people earned their livelihood, what they produced, how cultures and society changed, etc. Earlier, historians only study about the past events, but after that, they focused other issues like how people earned their livelihood and what they produced, how cultures and society changed, etc. So, the correct answer is option B. Okay. The fourth question is, which one from the given list would you add to complete the circle of documents? See here in the circles, diaries, newspapers, autobiographies, travelogues, and which one will come from this option? Official documents or biological surveys or forest surveys or accounts of pilgrims. Which one will come? Accounts of pilgrims. See, diaries, newspapers, autobiographies, travelogues and accounts of pilgrims help to historians to write history. These official documents, biological surveys, forest surveys come under official documents. Okay, fine. I will ask you fill in the blanks. Okay. First one. Census operations were held every dash years. Census operations were held every 10 years, not 5 years or 4 years. Okay. Then British established specialized institutions like dash and dash were also established to preserve important records. What are they? British established specialized institutions like archives and museums. Then dash suggested the British should conquer all the territories in India. Who suggested the British should conquer all the territories in India? James Mill. Dash is certainly about changes that occur over time. History. Okay. See, children, now let's move into answer the following. You must copy it in your classwork note. Okay, even I will send it form of PDF too. So you can copy it. Okay. See, already I have told you about James Mill, right? So let me ask you a question. Who was James Mill? Who was James Mill? James Mill was a Scottish economist and political philosopher and is known for his book A History of British India, isn't it? So, the book A History of British India was written by whom? James Mill. And how did James Mill divide our Indian history? James Mill divided Indian history into three, such as Hindu, Muslim and British. But historians divided Indian history into ancient, medieval and modern. Okay, fine. How did James Mill view India? James Mill did not cherish any positive idea about India. He didn't give any comment about any positive idea about India. He was the opinion that all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization than Europe. And what did he think? He thought that all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization and then Europe. See, according to his telling of history, before the British come to India, Hindu and Muslim despots ruled the country. Yes, before British come to India, many Hindu rulers and Muslim rulers ruled the country. And he thought that religious intolerance, caste taboos and superstitious practices dominated social life. In fact, those time religious intolerance was there. Caste taboos means restricted, forbidden. Some practices were banned and followed many superstitious practices also. For example, sati, then palya vivag and polygamy, or etc. So this religious intolerance, caste taboos and superstitious practices dominated social life. And he felt that only British rule could civilize India. What did he feel? What did James Mill feel? James Mill felt that only British rule could civilize India. And also he suggested that the British should conquer all the territories of India, is ensure the enlightenment and happiness of the Indian people. See, what did James Mill suggest? James Mill suggested that the British should conquer all the territories of India. See, Dash suggested that the British should conquer all the territories of India. James Mill, right? So James Mill suggested that the British should conquer all the territories of India to ensure the enlightenment and happiness of the Indian people. And he said that India was not capable of progress without the help of the British. So James Mill thought that India was not capable of progress without the help of the British. So like this, James Mill viewed India. Okay, children, the remaining question and answers will be discussed in the next class. Okay, thank you.